So I gauge your.
Ready?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the DeKalb Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for this Monday, December 4th, 2023. Could we start with a roll call, please?
Becker, O'Flaherty,
Here.
Kenya Graham,
Here.
Stoker,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
McMahon,
Here.
Maxwell,
Here?
6 present.
Thank you very much. Move to the approval of the agenda. If there are any additions or deletions, if not, I will ask for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the agenda as submitted.
Moved by McMahon. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, second by Wright. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We will go to the approval of the minutes from November 20th, 2023. If there are any additions or deletions, if not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I could move that we move to approve the minutes as submitted from November 20th.
So moved by McMahon. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Seconded by O'Flaherty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. This is the public participation portion of the meeting. If there's anyone that has anything they would like to speak to that is not on the agenda, you can come forward now. If not, we will move to new business. We have a public hearing, a petition by the Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District for approval of the rezoning of multiple properties to the GS Government Sanitary District as listed on the legal notice and shown on supporting documents. We have a presentation. Mark, if you'd like to step forward. If you could just simply state your name and address for the record, please.
Certainly, I'm Mark Eddington. I'm the Executive Director of the Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District at 1301 Sycamore Road, DeKalb, Illinois.
Thank you. I apologize, we only have one monitor today, so.
Yep. Maybe, could you throw the map up? So I guess the background is the sanitary district has been in town since 1928, and over the years, we've maintained several different properties in several different zoning categories. So this, our efforts are to bring in, we're going to annex a 20-acre property that's kind of adjacent to the tollway on Annie Glidden Road. And we're also going to we're seeking to recategorize all our existing properties into one, as you mentioned, the GS zoning, so to kind of clean things up. Lots of them, or several of them are, I think, Dan, help me out here, are they zoned currently as like a residential category, which we don't think is really befitting what we do, and it can become a little confusing, I think, so we're trying to clean up that matter. I've had a couple questions. I'm here to answer any of your questions, both from the public and from the board. We did have a couple folks that reached out to us with some questions relating to what we're trying to accomplish here. One was from a property owner that actually has some farmland that is west of Annie Glidden Road, so that's west of, we call it our South Slope site, but it's the site that's north of the tollway and just north and just east of the tollway. That individual was interested in what plans we have for that particular property. We have a cell tower that's existing now on that property that we lease to SPA Towers. We don't have any other plans currently for that property, so I did let that gentleman know. I also had an opportunity with Dan to meet with some neighbors of ours in the Lawnwood and Woodlawn areas of the city of DeKalb. If you guys are familiar with our site, here, thank you, Dan. He's highlighting the property owners. There's probably 20 or 25 properties back in that general area, and they had some questions relating to what the district's intentions are with our site as it relates to their property. And we met with them for about an hour and answered questions, and really, and Dan, I'm going to ask you to kind of point out some areas for us if you could. If you look at our service, we have a service road that's kind of on the south portion of our site. Is it easier for me to? Trust me to do. Yeah. Okay. I could figure this out. Sorry about that. We have a service road we have two entrances into our site. So if you're familiar with Jewel, we've got the stoplight and we've got our administration building, so our main entrance on the north part off of Sycamore Road. And then we do have a service entrance that's along the south portion of our property it's not signalized, off of Sycamore Road. And Lawnwood and Woodlawn folks are located kind of just south of there. If you're familiar with our properties at all, you'll note that this is the area that we've kind of converted to native prairies and wildflowers and those sorts of things. There's a drainage ditch that kind of goes back through some woods here that are south of our service road. In any event, most of this area here is floodway, and like I told the folks we met with, this area is, we have no intention to do any building here in the future. It's a floodway, and even if we wanted to build there, it would be very costly and difficult. So I think in general, they were happy to hear that we had no, designs to really build any structures closer to their property than they already are on our site. So with that, guess I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mark. We have a staff report?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a little background. Back in October of 2022, the City Council approved an intergovernmental agreement with the district via resolution. In part, stated the city and KWRD are co-equal units of local government. In the IGA also mentioned that the properties would be treated as a public or institutionally zoned property similar to NIU was the intent. A follow-up to that resolution, this past May of this year, we approved and went through the commission hearing where we created a government sanitary district approved for their properties. As mentioned, they have properties that are zoned single family, properties are zoned heavy industrial, down off Harvester. A couple properties have a planned development residential zoning because different zoning districts cover their facilities. So the intent was to get it under their facilities in one zoning district. So that's the GS Government Sanitary District. And in your package, it showed the GS district from our UDO. It lists a bunch of permitted uses that would cover all their facilities, all their functions for the district. So the rezoning for all the 7 parcels, there's one that's going to be proposed to be annexed, which Mark showed you, that one down at Annie Glen and Fairview Drive will need to be annexed and then rezoned to GS district. So in terms of zoning control, that's going to be the permitted uses. There won't be any specific setbacks or other standards, but of course they do follow state and federal regulations, which are very rigorous and very strict regarding EPA regulations, so they're going to be affected by those. And they've had a really good working relationship with the surrounding residents, particularly around the main plant, regarding working with them, communication, et cetera, and we anticipate that continuing in the future. As mentioned, the parcel to be annexed is currently surrounded by the city down at southeast corner of Fairview Drive and Annie Glen Road, about 21 acres, called the South Slope. So we have standards for rezoning. It's compatible with the comp plan. The 2020 plan had all their properties zoned as, not zoned, but indicated as transportation utility category. So fitting on that. There's also some goals in the community facilities chapter in the comp plan that they're meeting in terms of communication with other taxing districts. The rezoning is compatible with the comp plan. It will allow the district to function and continue their sanitary waste collection, transmission, treatment, disposal, all in a manner per all the regulations that they have to comply with. So they meet all the standards for rezoning. For public input, we did get Mark mentioned a phone call from a adjoining neighbor down at Annie Glen and Fairview. In terms of written responses in your packets, we did get a public response form from Eliza Hoffman Trust, owns the properties at 409, 413 East Hillcrest and 417, 419 East Hillcrest. Letter states they support the request but would like to see more specifics. There was no additional information provided. And since the packet went out last Thursday, we did get, and Mark mentioned, we met with several residents, hosted by Terry Von Ides home. We appreciate that. We met on the 28th, and we received a letter over the weekend from them signed by 9 households along Lawnwood and Woodlawn Drive that are, as pointed out, this subdivision here, in support, and they also noted some points that were kind of brought up during the meeting as an understanding. So that's provided to you. So a sample motion's prepared that approves the rezonings. Those are laid out in Exhibit A. Each parcel is mentioned, noting what district they're going to be rezoned from to the GS district, and with that one that needs to be annexed also. So be happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Thank you, Dan. If there's anyone else that would like to speak to this, if not, I will close the public hearing and open it up for comments and questions from the commission.
No questions.
The letter with all the residents signing.
Yes.
So, who, the reclamation district met with these residents and agreed to the 5 points that they have there, or?
Yes, we met with them, Mark and I did, and they're kind of laying out what was a general understanding. Again, this letter is not part of any type of ordinance or an agreement, it was just the understanding we had and they had with the district and the city. All their questions were answered.
Sorry, others out of order, but would you mind reading this so that everybody understands what it is?
Sure. Or do you want to read it, Chair, or I can?
Sure.
Okay.
Dear sirs, following the meeting of neighbors held at 817 Lawnwood Avenue, DeKalb, Illinois, with Mark Eddington, P.E., District Manager of Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District, and Dan Olson, Planning Director of the City of DeKalb, present on November 28th, 2023, we, the undersigned, support the rezoning of the properties located at 1109 and 1301 Sycamore Road in DeKalb, Illinois, as described in the letter dated 11/8/2023. Our decision to support this is based on the following points elaborated by both Mr. Mark Eddington and Mr. Dan Olson. 1, there will not be future building expansions on the land adjacent to the Woodlawn Drive and Lawnwood Avenue, DeKalb, Illinois, largely due to the land being in the floodplain. Point number 2, KWRT might improve the existing facility but will not extend its current building footprint. The current facility's capacity is much higher than currently being used. Point number 3, the facility will not serve entities outside of the county. There is the possibility of a future plant to be built near the industrial area south of town, Chicago West. Point number 4, the wildflower and butterfly repopulation areas will be reinstated and possibly improved. And point number 5, the current trucking traffic and from the KWRD facility is from the local waste management and other DeKalb County communities that carry local waste that needs to be processed.
And Mark may want to add, but so there will be, and it was explained to the residents, there are some areas up in the existing footprint that there will be some expansion in there, which they have approval already. Maybe Mark can go over that more. But as stated, there's no additional improvements planned in this area along here, this floodway area through here.
I got a chance to see the letter this morning, and while very, in generalities, we agree with the tenets, the 5 tenets of the letter. There is some context I think that's worth discussing a little more since we're on the record. First, let me start by saying the reality is the sanitary district is bound by our mission to the EPA and to the environment. And the things that we cannot predict are the future of wastewater treatment. as technology gets better and water quality standards are promulgated, it's our obligation to treat that wastewater. And to make a promise that we would never change we don't have any intention of buying more property, but I can't stand here and make a promise that the district won't expand its footprint in perpetuity. That's just not how I characterized it at the meeting, and that's not a promise I can make now. I can say we have no intention at all on building anything near your properties along Longwood and Woodlawn. It's in the floodplain, but I can't predict the future. I can say that currently we have twice the amount of capacity that we're using today. So today we see about 5 million gallons a day. In the capacity our treatment plant has is 9 million gallons. I can say within our current footprint of the 52 acres that the district owns at 1301 Sycamore Road, that we can double that 9 million gallons of capacity into 18 million gallons without changing a single thing with our footprint, without constructing any tankage or any sort of structures nearer to your properties than they already are today. I see this as being I see that 18 million gallons as being a 50 to 100 year kind of future look ahead. I can say that, the city of DeKalb, surrounding areas, contribute that 5 million gallons a day. So imagine our service area quadrupling, and we'd be able to accommodate that on our site. Now, to mention our future plans, the sanitary district owns 50 acres south of the tollway. Assuming that, and one of the questions you guys had at the meeting related to, well, do you have any plans once capacity at this site, so say that 18 million gallons of a day of capacity would ever get exhausted, what would you do? Well, my answer at the time and why we bought the property in 2010 south of the tollway is we think if there was that much development, it would really be driven a lot by development south of the tollway. So we purchased the 50 acres in a location that would be zoned it's a location that's up on the board right there, in a location that would be readily developable into a second wastewater treatment facility. So we are planning for the future as well. So a couple items there. Another item of those 5 that I take a little bit of exception to is promising that the sanitary district would never treat any waste outside of DeKalb County. There are scenarios out there where there are communities within the Kishwaukee River watershed, so that discharge their wastewater to the same receiving stream that we do. Take the Village of Maple Park, for instance. There may be a scenario where it's in the public's best interest, and Maple Park's best interest, and DeKalb's best interest, and our best interest, and the environment's best interest, that we might treat that wastewater. So, again, we're talking about a long look ahead into the future, but there are some promises that the sanitary district cannot make, and a lot of those are driven by, environmental needs that we have no control over.
Thank you.
I'd be happy to answer any other questions relating to those.
Mark, I have a question for you. You mentioned, so the capacity is 9 million gallons per day. Is that just with this facility that we're looking at north?
Yeah, the facility as it sits today that you're looking at has a 9 million gallon a
Then
day
you-
capacity, and right now we see 5 million gallons a day.
Then to get to the 18 million, you would have to build something on the south site?
Nope, we would be able to build additional tankage that's already been planned for within our current boundaries on our existing site at 1301 Sycamore Road.
Okay. So you own is there 2 pieces south? There's a piece south of the tollway that you bought? And
There is.
There's a piece north that you bought.
So that piece there, the 50 acres I referred to, that's south of the tollway right now. And currently, we lease 35 acres of that to a local farmer.
Okay.
And we have a biosolids storage facility that is like a pole barn that we keep our biosolids in until it is, we're able to land apply it.
Okay.
But that was the purchase that was made in 2010. The piece here, you're looking at the 20 acres, we call it the South Slope site. This was actually a wastewater treatment plant 40 to 50 years ago that treated all of the development that was south of the tollway at the time. At some point, way before my time, the sanitary district constructed a pipe south of the toll, a large diameter pipe south of the tollway to serve kind of that whole industrial area that resides along Harvester and such. And was able to decommission the small treatment plant that was at that site, and we just pipe all that waste back to 1301 Sycamore Road right now. So that's how we got kind of stuck with that 20 acres of property. There's a closed landfill on it. It's been decommissioned decades ago. We lease a little piece of it to a cell tower company. And actually, we have a license agreement with the city of DeKalb, and that's where the city of DeKalb stacks or stores the snow that they remove from the downtown area.
Okay.
Is there any plan to have you guys thought about or talked about what you're gonna have to do out that way towards all the development? Would it be easier to do another plan out that way, or no?
Are you referring to the new development kind of in the southeast quadrant of town?
Yes.
Yeah, so we constructed so right now, there's a 24-inch diameter sewer that serves everything that's south of the tollway right now. And believe it or not, before this current development kind of started booming in 2020, Ferrara and Facebook and, Kraft Heinz and so forth, we didn't get a lot of wastewater from south of the tollway. They had some industry there, but just weren't big producers of wastewater. Still, the wastewater we see today from even the new development is not a lot. So we don't have any plans right now to construct an additional wastewater treatment plant. But once that 24-inch pipe fills up, that would be kind of a tipping point for us to consider constructing a site to on that 50 acres south of the tollway. My guess would be that it would be decades before that would be necessary, but I don't know. If building keeps booming the way it is around here, that could be earlier than that. But we have a plan in place for that. Certainly, we don't want to operate two facilities until we absolutely have to operate two facilities.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah.
Anyone else? If not, I will ask for a motion to approve.
I have a question. If you make the motion, do you have to read the whole Exhibit A?
No. Please don't.
If that's the case, I can make the motion. I move that, based upon the submitted petition and testimony presented, I move the Planning and Zoning Commission forward its finding of fact and recommend to the City Council approval of the annexation and rezoning request from the Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District for the parcels as listed in Exhibit A.
So moved by McMahon. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Wright. May I have a roll call, please?
O'Flaherty,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stover,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Maxwell,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you very much. For coming as well. That is the last item. Do we have a staff report on anything upcoming?
Just quickly, next meeting, December 18th, last meeting of the year, 2 hearings, 122 Cotton Avenue, it's a rezoning. It's a residential structure that wants to have 2 units in it. It used to have it, but it's been vacant for several years. Need to rezone that in a special use permit. And then 1209 Pleasant, a vacant lot owned, bought by Habitat for Humanity. They want to put up a new duplex there, so they rezone it, get a special use permit, also do a plat to create 2 lots out of 1. Those are the 2 hearings. Last council meeting, November 27th, they approved the special use permit for the retail tobacco store on 650 Peace Road. Was approved. There was actually 1 no vote, but that went through. So coming up, as I mentioned, January 2nd is our first scheduled meeting of the new year. We'll probably cancel that based on the timing of that, but that will be done the Thursday before that meeting. And of course, let us know. We'll get out a schedule of meetings for 2024 that will be reviewed and voted on by the council next Monday night. So we'll get that to you after the council approves it.
Excellent. Thank you. If anybody else has anything to add, if not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
So moved by O'Flaherty, may I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Pena Graham. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Thank you very much, folks, and have a lovely evening.